Brendan, welcome to Swansea City Football Club. I understand everything has been signed, sealed and delivered this afternoon. You pleased to become the new manager of Swansea City?
Yeah, I'm very, very proud. It's a fantastic club. You know, I've seen the growth of the club, in particular over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and to get an opportunity to come to, you know, not only a club but the area is fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it.
What sort of attracted you to Swansea the most?
I think there was 2 things. I think there was certainly, first of all, the philosophy of the club. You know, as I said, I've seen it develop over the last few years, and obviously when I spoke with Hugh, the chairman, and you know their need and want to continue with that, then I just felt that was a hand in glove fit for me in terms of, you know, my belief in how I see the game, and obviously a club that's already, you know, got that in place. So that I didn't need to come in and make a whole sale change. It's just about developing and improving what's here, and looking at that growth then for the next few seasons. And then I think the second thing was obviously the supporters. You know, it's a passionate. You know, I'm a passionate Irishman who puts a lot into the work, and the supporters here in this area are obviously mad about their football. And I've been here as a manager, and I've been here to watch some games, and I was, you know, taken aback by how educated they are in terms of the style here, and that as well gives us great hope that we can move forward together, because, you know, as I say, I can't do it on my own. It's going to be the relationship with myself, the supporters, and obviously ultimately the players that's going to allow us to keep progressing.
Because the club has come quite a long way in the last few years, sort of establishing itself slowly as a championship club. You're confident of pushing on from there? Yeah,
well, I think, as I said, it's always difficult to forecast, but certainly the club has done well in the last couple of seasons in the Championship. It's vital that you can establish yourself in here, but obviously ultimately it's about progressing, and I think what we have here is a great foundation and a great base to allow us to move forward. You know, it's a unique way of playing, certainly in Britain, and but it's something that I'm familiar with and I've worked at, you know, most of my coaching life. So I understand the principles, and I understand where we want to go as well, and it's something that we'll work very hard to do.
And do you know much about the squad that you'll be taking over here, the squad of players?
Yeah, I've looked closely at them, and obviously from being a manager and being up against them, and I've big admiration for the players here, because, you know, what they've shown in the last couple of seasons since stepping up from League One is a real bravery. You know, they go into any ground in this country and they go and play football. And over the last couple of seasons, they've gone in to Premier League grounds and played football and won. So I'm really excited about working with them, because a lot of them are on the same wavelength as myself. And if I can improve and develop that, then it's going to be really exciting. You know, your goalkeeper's, you know, fantastic. He can play football, but he makes saves. You know, Gary Monk, terrific captain here at the club, you know, for a while now. We got Alan Tate, who, you know, I really admired as a player, because he plays equally well in a number of positions. You know, you've got Rangel, who gets forward and works well, and Pratley from midfield. So, you know, I like to think I've studied them and watched them enough as an opponent to know they're outstanding players.
Now, your own background, I understand you started at Reading as a player, but you forced to sort of retire early through injury, was it?
Yeah, well, I was a young, sort of, I suppose, a typical Irish youngster, where I was a talented young player. Played in an international, you know, played schools and youth international level. Joined Reading, and I had to quit when I was younger. I love football. Football was my passion. So at 20, I moved into coaching, and obviously I was young, so I was able to take my time and develop and learn. And I suppose I progressed through from working with children at 5-6 years of age to getting through to working with the biggest players in the world at Chelsea. But I was always then keen and ambitious to want to manage, and thankfully I get a chance to become a manager at 35 years of age. So yeah, obviously the next best thing to being a football player is working in football as a coach, and obviously it's my passion, and I love football.
It must have been a proud moment when Jose Mourinho sort of took you from Reading, from the youth team there, into the youth team at Chelsea and onto the reserve team and a coach as well. Do you learn a lot from him?
Yeah, he was the main reason I went. I'd done a lot of study in football, and while I was the academy director at Reading, I was playing a similar probably journey to what, you know, you're in here you're working as a coach, you're trying to set up a different style of play, and that's what I was doing as a young coach at Reading. And sometimes in Britain that's difficult, because you're wanting to play football and you want to have a certain style, and that's not always the case here. And I went because I'd read up on Jose quite a lot, and I understood his principles, and obviously the chance to then go and work with him, because a lot of my thinking was similar to his, but then to go and be invited into that circle of people and see what was my method of work actually happening at the very top end of the game was very pleasing, and obviously our relationship grew from that. I was his first external appointment when I went into Chelsea, and from there our relationship was strong, and sort of remains so this day. So no, I learned many things from him.
Eventually, obviously, moved on to Watford, and then Reading as first team manager. Do you learn a lot from those two experiences as a manager? Yeah,
there's, I've obviously coached in pressure, at the big club, but there's nothing prepares you when the curtains go back and the lights shining on you as the manager. There's nothing prepares you for that. So I didn't just arrive on the scene. I had a 15-year apprenticeship, really, which I would never change. So to arrive then at Watford as a manager, I was very proud, because it was a fantastic club, and I had 6 months there where it started, not so well, and then we grew, and then we became one club, and I had no sort of reason really to want to leave there. However, then the club accepted. Obviously, Reading made a call, and they allowed me to speak to them, and it was probably a decision from the heart, because I'd lived in Reading all my life. I'd been there for 10 odd years before going to Chelsea, and I lived in the town for 21 years. My children were there, and my family was there, and as I said, I made the decision to go. So, and my only regret was probably how it finished, because I was only in the door at Watford. I'd given them hope, but my instinct took me to Reading, but my only regret was that I left Watford and haven't been there such a short period of time, because they were fantastic for me and treated me really well.
And speaking to the chairman, obviously been out of the game for a couple of months, he said by speaking to you, you could see that you're very driven and want success. Still confident of bringing that at Swansea?
Yeah, I think when you arrive as a manager at 35 and having not had a big playing career, then that's what gets you there, that drive and ambition, and obviously your self-belief. So I just think I've come to a club that matches my own principles and my own ambition. It's a club that we can move forward together. The most important thing here is the club's success. It's the most important thing above everything else, and I want to be able to give them that. So no, leaving Reading hasn't quashed my self-belief. I'm still the same person in terms of how I work, and I arrive here at Swansea a better manager, because I'll have learnt from that experience. So and now I want to give my all here to Swansea. My family will move down, and we'll give everything to make this club as successful as we can.
No time to put your feet under the table, because a trip to Yeovil tomorrow. Yeah. Will you take charge of Yeovil, or will you just sort of have a watching brief?
Yeah, well, I'm going to speak with Colin and Alan this afternoon, and I think it's only right. They've done a fantastic job here and keeping the reins, and the players, I'm sure, enjoying the training. So I'll speak with them today, and I think it's only right for them to finish off, as I said, taking the game tomorrow, and I'll take a backward seat. I'll meet the players tomorrow, and hopefully speak with the skipper this afternoon and have a good chat with Gary and get his thoughts, which will be interesting. And then go to the game, watch the game. The most important thing in this moment is fitness, which is the most important. And then we'll go start afresh for Monday and get on the field.
And I understand you speak Spanish as well?
I try my best. It's an Irish version of Spanish. Yeah, I was told, must have been 10 odd years ago, that to work at the very highest level, it will help you if you speak another language. And so I left it a couple of years, and I studied Spanish for 6-7 years, and been doing Italian for a year. So yeah, I do my best.
You'll have a few players to practice on anyway at Swansea, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And my wife tells me I may need to start learning Welsh. So we'll have a look at that.
Well, good luck anyway. We all wish you every success.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.